Reddit has no shortage of mysteries, rabbit holes, and other oddities, as we've come to know on this channel and in this series specifically. And today, we're going to take a look at 8 more cases that showcase just that, as we tackle mysteries and rabbit holes from Reddit, Volume 4. Teddy Creepypasta Image. Recently, over the last few years, a lot of people have become interested in the origins of various iconic creepypasta images. Whether it be due to nostalgia or just general intrigue behind some of the more well-known, disturbing, and interesting images generally associated with some of the more popular stories, such as Jeff the Killer, Liars, Squidward's and others. Another one to add to that list is the creepypasta known as Teddy, one I remember personally hearing back in the day about a haunted teddy bear, sometimes, almost always associated with this mysterious and pretty creepy image. There has been interest in this case for years, at least since people became interested in the origins of the Jeff the Killer image, including on r/internet mysteries, where about a month ago, a user was able to make a pretty big break in the case, after not much was discovered for a few years. These are images of a duplicate bear, which were sent to the Reddit user Sayrosen. Someone was even able to recreate the pose and shot of the original image with the bear. On the bottom of the bear's feet also reads, Sandra Justice, 1984. Sandra Justice being an artist and doll maker responsible for these rare teddy bears, likely including the one seen in the infamous photo from Teddy. According to the user who acquired the bear and shared the images with the OP, they bought the bear at a thrift store in Fairmont, West Virginia, and since this post, even more similar bears have been discovered, such as this white one, all likely coming from the same artist. This was a huge find for the case, as we now know what kind of bear it was and who likely made it, and possibly the general area which it was made in or came from. However, we still don't know who the original poster of the first creepypasta image was, or where it came from as of now. All we have are these 2 additional images of the bear in question, which have been found. Ode to Mark Taylor. This is an incredibly strange and unnerving video, which, as best described by commenters on YouTube, is both kind of funny but also quite horrifying. This mysterious video was posted to the Internet Mysteries subreddit 2 months ago, but has been an internet oddity for years, as the video was uploaded on June 13th, 2013, by a user called Henry Howard. The video, entitled Ode to Mark Taylor, is dedicated to the fictional character of Mark Taylor, portrayed by Taryn Noah Smith in the 90s sitcom Home Improvement. The show revolves around Tim Taylor and his family, including his youngest son, Mark Taylor, running a local home improvement show called Tool Time, with the show focusing a lot on Tim's family as well as his television career as a handyman, despite not being a very good one. The video in question begins with text reading, Mark Taylor is real. I met him at a Tim Allen from Home Improvement show in New York City. I thought I loved him and he told me he is Mark Taylor. I can't find him, but I have a lot to say to him. I made this video and hope it finds its way to him. Never forget, Henry. Next we get this extremely strange and off-putting rant with expletives.
Ode to Mark Taylor. Thanks for leaving me stranded in New York City, you pompous, sucking, inhaling. I remember the things that you did. Oh yes, I remember. I remember the night I met you. I had come to fuck your father and ended up sucking your dick somehow. How did that happen? Oh right, we inhaled earthworm-sized lines of amphetamines and chased them down with the beers I pried from your cold, dead hands. The ones stolen from the boy you f***ed earlier that night, the cancer patient. The one whose drugs you so cleverly stole out of his bag while he was gone to the emergency room, you thirsty imbecile. I see everything. Boy, do I see everything.
So this strange video letter has the poster claiming they had relations with Mark Taylor, not the actor, but the actual character from Home Improvement.
So instead of the headliner, the most famous man in America, I end up his son, the little with eyeliner on, the one strumming his guitar in the smoke-filled rooms of the city, surrounded by little girl child fans, swollen thick in the thighs with emotion. My bad.
The odd tone of the person talking, as well as the fact that it is likely slowed down along with the very strange and creepy things being said, despite it coming off as somewhat comical, still makes the video quite unsettling to listen to, unless you do just in general interpret this as some sort of strange, absurdist comedic piece, which actually a lot of people did, but even so, this is still one of the strangest videos I've ever come across on YouTube, and it surprisingly hasn't gotten much attention at all, with only about 8,000 views, despite being uploaded over 10 years ago and being featured on r/Internet Mysteries.
Or maybe it wasn't the utterance of his name. Maybe, somehow, I had remembered you giving my baby sister, the juvenile, Xanax, and her the very same night I sucked your dick after the show. And I just want you to know that you can do anything you want, whenever you want to do it. But if you ever step foot near my side again, I will knife you where you stand, Mark Taylor. And that is a promise to you and anyone you may have ever made as miserable as you've ever been.
It seems the poster is writing some sort of letter, admitting to engaging in sexual acts with the character of Mark Taylor, despite being interested in the father, Tim Taylor, while going on to describe how Mark had sex with the user's sister and stole drugs from a cancer patient.
Mark, the thought of you a child hurts me, but more than that, the thought of you women at all disturbs me to no end. The thought of you possibly planting your swine seed into some innocent or not so innocent female who carries her bloody burden like a cross to bear for the sake of the reproduction of the species is almost enough to make me slit my own throat again. In what ways could
It's all very strange and almost unintelligible, especially with the way it's narrated. Still, there is no explanation behind the video. Whether you find it creepy and unnerving or somewhat comedic, it is the only upload on the Henry Howard channel and remains a mystery. No longer music. This post didn't get as much traction as a lot of the other mysteries covered on this list, most likely because there isn't much to be said about it, other than the fact that this is kind of random and a creepy thing to have happen while you're listening to music. For more context, this is the Internet Mysteries subreddit post. No Longer Music tried to play a corrupted video file on VLC Media Player, and this image pops in at random for a flicker when I repeatedly hit play. This is the image in question. The OP further writes, I tried to convert a video via VLC, but it didn't work right. Trying to click play does nothing. The video is shown as having no duration, with a file size of 160 bytes. When I try to play the video file by constantly clicking on play, this image pops in at random for just a flicker between clicks. I had to screen record to be able to take this screenshot. The reverse image search that I did came out with nothing. In the comments, one user explains a strange glitch that can happen with VLC Media Player, with videos and with music, that has happened to them before, of the software pulling a seemingly random image from their computer which displays instead of whatever you're trying to play. However, the OP replies that they didn't have this image anywhere on their desktop or PC to their knowledge, and have no idea where it came from, and didn't even know it was an album cover art, which is the actual origin of this image, as revealed by another commenter. According to Bandcamp, the album is called Primordial, and the artist is known as No Longer Music, with the album releasing on January 1st, 1999.
I don't want to be rude. Gotta keep it dog.
Traumatizing educational video. Here we have another post from, you guessed it, r/internet mysteries, posted 2 months ago from a user called Webcops. It's titled, "Can you guys help me find this YouTube video I saw as a kid that traumatized me?" Quote, "I remember when I was around maybe 3 or 4 years old, I was frequently watching YouTube videos on microscopic organisms, bacteria, viruses, cells, etc., because I was interested in that kind of stuff. I remember watching this one educational video that I guess somehow had to do with bacteria, and there was this one scene in the video that traumatized me so much. So basically, this man was outside and picked up a hose to use it. When he turned it on, he realized there was a kink in the hose, so water couldn't pass through it. He went to go fix it, and when he did fix it, the water came shooting out of the hose and hit him. When the water hit him, the skin started dissolving off of his body. All of the skin on him just started to dissolve when the water touched it. I vaguely remember this part of the scene when it showed the man's corpse on the ground with all of the skin and flesh off of his body, and he looked mangled and mutilated, and it showed a close-up shot of his head with his face completely melted off. This f***ed me up as a kid, and I don't know why it would be in a video about bacteria. I've always wanted to know what this video was because, like, what the f***? More info I vaguely remember about it. The dude was slightly obese. I think he was wearing a black tank top. The whole sequence happened in slow motion, filmed in a cinematic style. The thumbnail was, I think, a fake photo of bacteria close up. Purple, I think. So, looks like we got a piece of lost media here. This post got quite a bit of traction, leading to multiple suggestions in the comments. The top reply asked if it was possibly one of the deaths featured in the popular TV show 1000 Ways to Die, a series that showcases unique and shocking true stories behind strange deaths. However, the OP shoots down this suggestion, saying it wasn't a clip from this show. Another user replies saying that they never personally saw the video, but they remember another YouTuber talking about it, remembering it as a compilation of sorts, featuring various images and videos from educational sources that were put together to create an uncanny and creepy atmosphere, although the OP again is dismissive of this idea. Another comment brings up a science fiction show about bacteria and a section about nanobots, further clarifying it was an obscure show he saw on daytime TV, but again, this didn't really go anywhere. The only other suggestion is a comment asking if the OP is Portuguese, and if the segment had a woman touching a donut with a bacteria spreading, and after a man eats the donut, everything goes wrong, saying that the OP's description is similar to something they saw on Portuguese TV. However, none of these answers satisfied the original poster, and it seems this one remains no closer to being found. Ghost compilation. Everyone I'm sure remembers those old school ghost videos from back in the early days of YouTube, at least I do. I remember being so scared of those ghosts caught on tape jump scare type videos, and here I guess we got another very bizarre case involving one of these videos. Posted to r/internet mysteries by user routine_reference 899, we have the title, "Weird video I saw as a kid in one of those ghost/cryptids caught on tape compilations." The post reads, quote, "So when I was about 8 or 9, I went through this like ghost/cryptid caught on tape phase, and I vividly remember watching this compilation where one of the entries was captioned either Demon Kisses Woman or Demon Woman. The video was in a dashcam format and involved the woman being pinned against a car while a demon forcibly makes out with her as she struggles and tries to push him off. I didn't watch the whole thing though, as I got scared and I think ran out of the room. The demon itself looked like a stereotypical demon, horns, pointed chin. It was definitely not from Wreck, as even though it has a similar deleted scene, the demon and woman look distinctly different. Has anyone else seen this video or know what I'm talking about?" A commenter asked the user to clarify when they saw the video, which they say was around 2016 or 2017, and the video was maybe a few years older by their estimation. In the post itself, the user brings up the film Wreck, a 2007 found footage horror film, which spawned a series of sequels and allegedly has a similar deleted scene, although the OP states that it wasn't what they remembered. Also, I've never seen the films, but it says they're supernatural zombie movies, and not about demonic possessions or anything like that. Another user writes, quote, "I've been seeing people say similar things as to what this post is recounting. I've seen similar videos. I think I was 4 to 6 years old, and it was 2013 or 2014. I used YouTube a lot as a little kid. I vividly remember watching a video of an alien and a woman making out, something weird like that. It wasn't an alien costume, it looked like a real alien. I've definitely watched similar videos as a kid. Where those videos are today and why they were created in the first place are questions that will always be in the back of my mind. The OP responded to this, saying that the demon looked very realistic and was possibly from some obscure fetish video, but beyond this, there isn't really much else to go on. The user did add in the comments that they remembered the video had no commentary and just text with no audio, and was possibly in a top 15 or 20 list style format, but it seems this strange lost video remains unfound. The sleeping girl of horselaugh.com. Now this is one of the biggest internet mysteries and rabbit holes of the recent months, even being covered in a deep dive by Scare Theater and some ordinary gamers. About 2 months ago, again on Internet Mysteries, we got a pretty detailed post called The Sleeping Girl of Horselaugh.com, and along with a post on r/weird websites from around the same time, we have what sparked the initial curiosity into this mystery. This old website, horselaugh.com, is an archive directory which contains several files and folders, some dated 2008 through the 2010s, and even a folder modified in December of 2024. The website remains up, but at the time of writing, all of the files have since been scrubbed. However, not only were people able to archive the contents of the site before they were removed, but many investigating the strange site went a step further, looking for archive captures of the site, dating back further through the Wayback Machine, which revealed even more odd videos. Taking a step back, the more mundane entries are various text documents about a family vacation from 2007, nothing too out of the ordinary at first glance, and another about a theory linking the bacteria H. pylori to autism spectrum disorder. However, the truly odd substance of the site are its videos, found in the archive folder 1417BR_orbs, which contained at one point quite a few videos, as they are all labeled with numbers, going all the way up to 49. The videos all contain the same thing, a person sleeping in a bed in a small room, with the timestamp dated 2023 in the bottom corner of the screen, with only occasions of a person peeking into the room and opening and closing the door. And there are even more deleted videos, which were found from going to earlier captures on the Wayback Machine. As you can imagine, people quickly got to investigating the site and the origins of the videos, given their creepy nature. They were able to find out that the site was created by a man named Dan Judd. Scare Theater was able to get into contact with him and even get a call with him, but unfortunately he wasn't able to record it and was instead just basically screamed at according to him. After he hung up on him, he sent a cryptic and eerie email to Scare Theater, saying, quote, "If you've gotten this far, you might believe that there is much, much more to the story. There is. I suppose someone should probably know the story sooner or later, although they will almost certainly regret it once they've gotten it in its entirety. As they say, some things one cannot unlearn." This bizarre email genuinely sounds like someone trying to goad a YouTuber into investigating their ARG. However, as we'll find out, it appears this was not the case. Scare Theater was able to get into contact with Judd's stepson, who described more about the delusions of the man behind the site, as well as the true sad story behind the recordings. The girl in the bed is one of Judd's children, who is described as having the mind of a toddler and having frequent seizures, which is why they have a camera in her room to constantly monitor her and make sure she doesn't hurt herself. However, the reason he is posting the videos to his strange website is unknown, but likely ties into his theory that somehow H. pylori is responsible for the girl's autism. The man in the interview also explains how Judd was physically abusive towards him, causing him mental trauma. He also describes a very strange incident in which he asked a girl he liked if they could attend her church, which he did alongside his family, including Judd, who took a particular interest in Mormonism, and in fact, according to a forum post linked to Judd, converted to the Church of LDS. Judd would go on to have a delusion that he obtained the 116 missing pages from the Book of Mormon, and as if the story couldn't get any weirder, Judd also apparently had met Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow, members of the Mormon Church that killed multiple people over the course of a few months in 2019, with all of them being close family members, including 2 of their own children, as well as Lori's previous husband, Charles Vallow, shooting and attempting to murder Lori's nephew-in-law, Brandon Boudreaux, and the murder of Chad's wife, Tammy Daybell. This whole thing is just an insane rabbit hole. He likely didn't have anything to do with those horrific murders, but it is still a strange coincidence. And from the videos, it's clear he's suffering from his own delusions, and it might be affecting his treatment of his own daughter, thanks to his strange beliefs which have been documented online through this archive. But why did he post these videos online? And why is it even called horselap.com? That, in and of itself, is another mystery. Home Invasion Image, 2013. Imagine seeing this while trying to open a movie on a very legal streaming site. What in the analog horror is this? According to the user, Low Quality Sample, this strange image was found on a movie pirating site associated with a specific film entitled Home Invasion from 2013. The OP looked into this bizarre and obscure film a little further and found the image along with the movie on several other streaming sites. This whole page is uncanny. The mostly blank background, the short overview, the very creepy Mandela effect-like image obviously, and the fact that it only has 1 rating with 9 stars and is only 2 minutes long. It looks like I'm about to open a snuff film or something. The summary only reads, quote, "An innocent man's life is plunged into chaos as a home invasion goes wrong." The OP further stated in a comment that he believed the image was heavily edited and was likely ripped from somewhere like IMDb, which has most well-known films on it, where you can read reviews and ratings for movies. However, after looking through, I can't seem to find this movie, not just because it's such a common name for a film, but also because this short film is just very obscure. Obviously, many people in the comments were intrigued, and it didn't take long for someone to find it. User Mystical Edgy posted a YouTube link to the film, and the movie is a lot less disturbing than one would think after seeing this cover image. We get that sweet, sweet royalty-free Kevin MacLeod music, while a man sleeps on his couch and is knocked out and tied up by a home invader. The guy manages to break free and get his phone to text his friend, and then... From here, they just keep on knocking each other out and tying each other up, until the friend comes over and they team up to take out the guy's friend, for whatever reason. The end. It's hilarious that this is just a little comedic film made by friends, when it's associated with this picture, which looks like it came directly from the Mandela catalog. But that still does leave the question, where did it come from? Reverse image searching it turned up nothing, so it's likely the image came from the original creators, or at least whoever posted it to a database like IMDb or MovieDB, which sites use to pull data from to post to their streaming sites, which is likely where the image came from. But what is it? Likely just a heavily edited image of one of their friends, or just some random person. Maybe these guys have a future in analog horror. Topless lady in Disney's The Rescuers. The last mystery here is another one that has been solved, but just so strange and interesting that I thought I had to include it anyway. Disney's The Rescuers is a 1977 classic animated adventure film about a young girl named Penny who's saved by Bernard and Bianca, 2 mice from a group called the Rescue Aid Society, or The Rescuers, alongside their flying companion Orville and their dragonfly friend Evinrude, all the while dealing with the kidnapper Madame Medusa. The film, like most of Disney's animated movies, especially from back then, is very kid-friendly, earning a G rating. There's nothing on the surface that would make you think this film has anything adult-oriented hidden inside it. That was until a strange detail about the home media release of the movie was given public attention when Disney recalled it in 1999. The reason? Because it contained a, quote, objectionable background image. It would turn out that around 38 minutes into the film, when the main characters are flying past an apartment building, for a few frames, for some reason, you can see a naked woman in a window, with her breasts exposed, in a Disney film. It is only visible for 2 frames, which explains why it wasn't known about for so long, but that still makes you wonder, why is this here and how? Who is the lady and where does this original image come from? This opened up a whole new can of worms in the lost media and internet mystery community. YouTuber Edache did a deep dive into the topic about a year ago, looking into this unsolved mystery. He brings up the time that Walt Disney allegedly spotted one frame of a naked woman that was in one of the films, placed there as a joke, similar to the rescuers incident in question, so maybe this is a similar case, but it's debatable whether this situation even happened in the first place. But there's another confirmed case of hidden nudity in a Disney film. Although not quite the same situation, in the 1988 film, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, there is a scene of the character Jessica Rabbit being thrown from a car, with a frame showing something under her dress that isn't her underwear. This would of course later be censored after controversy, and I believe this was only in the Laserdisc release. Some think that this was actually just a coloring mistake rather than a short 2-frame instance of showing cartoon genitalia on screen in a Disney film. A background artist by the name of Annie Gunther was credited with painting the background with the woman in the window in The Rescuers, which was further backed up by another animator, Tom Cito. You might be led to believe, since this was her last project before being fired, along with the fact that she was passed up on for promotion for head of background, that this may have been an attempt to get back at Disney. However, Cito claims that this isn't the case and that it was simply a hidden joke, something that Cito claimed animators have been doing in cartoons since the 30s. But who is the actual woman? Because it's clearly not a drawing. It's definitely an image of a real person. Well, we still don't know. That's the mystery of it all. Although it is theorized that Annie may have taken the image from a magazine. It appears it didn't come from any of the Playboy magazines which were around at the time, but the picture may have been taken from any number of pornographic magazines, or maybe didn't even come from a magazine at all. Maybe it was a snapshot of a scene from a porn film. To this day, we still don't know. But maybe with the amount of gooners out there, someone can figure it out. Just like we have with the Lost song, everyone knows that, also known as Ulterior Motives. It could be hidden in some vintage adult film, magazine, or photo shoot. So get to gooning, I guess. But only that old pre-77 stuff. And maybe someday this will be found.